Welcome to Discourse. Today we're going to be discussing Facing Demons, an All Hallows Eve tale by Kevin Matthew Hayes. At the start of the 19th century, a girl approaches the town's constable, William, and accuses the powerful O'Neill family of witchcraft. She is quickly dismissed, but Bridget, a bright nurse and William's love interest, soon convinces him that the girl is telling the truth. An investigation commences, and William and Bridget join forces to unravel the mystery. As they navigate the increasingly sinister facts, the duo finds out what evil is. So this is our third book by this author.
Following the same Halloween, or this one is in Hallows Eve.
So this story opens up in Ireland, and on Samhain Day, I hope we're saying that right, Samhain Day, but it's like basically Halloween night, right?
Yeah.
We're introduced to one of the leading male characters, Liam, and he's getting drunk and having a good time
with his buddies, causing trouble.
Exactly. And he gets a little too drunk, and his friends are like, you need to go home now.
Yeah, but at first they were making fun of him.
Yeah, for sure. It was so funny because, like, the dialogue, right? Like, right away, you're kind of like, what the heck are they even saying? Because it felt like I could hear them with their accent just speaking to each other like totally drunk Irishmen. I don't know. It was pretty funny. I was like, what the heck is happening?
I think Liam's had a bit too much ale. I agree. Liam, is the ground moving on ya? Liam's two friends laughed as they watched him in the dim village streets sway back and forth, trying to catch his balance. He and his friends had been celebrating with ale after a night of playing pranks on the nearby farmsteads. I think you celebrated enough this All Hallows Eve, replied Liam's friend. I'm not, Liam replied proudly. I just be getting started.
That's pretty funny.
So they send him on his way. It's like, come on, you better make it back home.
But then he's kind of sidetracked by his
love interest.
Yeah, his lady friend who he's been courting, I think he said for like a year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he meets up with her. He's like, hey, so good to see you, And she's like, hey, come here, like, come with me. We're going to go and do something. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, he's a little drunk anyway, so he's just like, well, all right. Yeah, I've been courting this person. I trust her. I care for her. I mean, why not go with her and do whatever it is she wants to go and do? But then he happens upon her, and she says, like, her family of sorts.
Yeah, but she's sneaking around.
Yeah, like, she's sneaking around into, like, the forest and stuff.
Yeah. And this group of people that she calls her family or her clan, they're, like, huddled around this fire in the middle of the woods. Mm-hmm. And they're keeping their distance for some reason. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Why are we doing that? And they're, like, chanting, and he's just kind of like, okay. I think because he was drunk, it made it a little easier for her to kind of be like, hey, let me introduce you to this life, right? My lifestyle. And she kind of does hint at that. She's like, we're going to stay a little bit further back for your first time.
Yeah, like ease you into so you don't get scared.
Yeah, so you don't get scared.
Yeah, and apparently there's this Niall guy, this druid, that's like the leader of this clan. And she's kind of talking to him like, that's Niall, this is a family, this is what they do every Samhain. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then she starts getting a little undressed, and he's like, well, all right.
Yeah, so she puts like this medallion or something on him, and he's just like, okay, I'll wear that. Yeah. Not a problem. And then she's like, okay, let's get undressed. So she starts undressing, he starts undressing, and his mind goes like, okay, we're doing this right now. This is great or whatever. I don't mind that. But then
she's like, don't be scared. He's like, not like it's our first time.
I know. Why would I be scared of this? That was funny, actually. Yeah. I love that part. I was like, of course he's not afraid. But then the situation really flips, right? So she's like, here's this vial of some stuff, just drink it.
Yeah, it's gonna burn a little bit, and he's been drinking already. He's like, sure.
So he obliges, and
yeah, and then it gets a little crazy, and he noticed the people out by the fire. They start like getting on all fours. They're all naked. He's like, what the heck?
Yeah, and he starts to realize that they're all transforming before his eyes, right, into wolf creatures.
Yeah, until Alice, it doesn't really hit him until Alice herself starts changing. And then when he's about to get freaked out some more and just panic, he starts feeling pain and transforming himself and he just passes out.
So now we flash forward, and we're in 1811. We are now in
South
Carolina, and we are introduced to Constable William Davies, who just got a job at this town as a constable, and he starts to quickly pick up on there was like a recent crazy issue scandal that was going on. So he's like, I should really look more into that.
It came to him either way.
Oh, yeah, Sophia. Yeah, so Sophia, who's a young woman there that worked for the family in question, right? She comes to him and is like, I need your help. Like, my family's super sick. Like, Mrs. O'Neill put like witchcraft stuff all over my family and they're not doing well and you need to come check them out. And he's like, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, but before that, she's the one that accused Mrs. O'Neill of doing witchcraft like out in the woods.
Oh,
like,
right,
she saw her, so she brought it up to the townspeople.
Right.
And they all, like back in the day, they got their pitchforks, their fire, and they were like...
There was a mob.
Send her to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, what the heck?
Yeah. So she saw what she saw, and she caused all this chaos to kind of happen, right?
And they didn't like it.
Yeah, they didn't like it because she caused problems in the town. So the townspeople don't really want Sophia, like, mingling into the town. I feel like they pushed her out, right? They didn't want her coming into the town.
She's on the outskirts.
So
like, if she goes in, she gets arrested.
Yeah, so she was actually there when she shouldn't have been.
At a party of all sorts.
I know, at a party, right? Yeah. So anyways, the constable's kind of like, okay, I should really check out these O'Neill people and see if they're okay and see what's going on. Like, get their side of the story.
So the nurse, Bridget, who he thinks is pretty and stuff, she convinces him.
Why do you say it like that? Who he thinks is pretty and stuff.
Another love story.
I know, I love that this author really does try to tie in, like, some romance, because especially for me, I'm a romance reader, so... I love that. I was like, okay, because all the scary stuff is pretty scary for me, so I needed a little bit of that romance to kind of help the horror go down.
Yeah, and then Sophia spreading rumors, like, are you really going to believe her? Like, come on. Like, it takes Bridget to really convince him, like, yeah, fine, I'll go check it out. It doesn't hurt to just check up on them, see how they're doing. And the next day, he gets up and he goes off and goes to their house to talk to the O'Neills. Kind of just to say that he went and talked to them and get it over with and move on with his job because he just got hired.
Yeah.
And he goes there and this guy walks up to the house and almost got attacked.
Oh, by the dogs. I was like, dang, why are the dogs outside all by themselves anyways and not even chained up or something? Like they could really hurt anybody passing by.
Yeah, these big demon dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that they served their purpose. They were protecting the house and the occupants, but my goodness. Mr. O'Neill had to come out and be like, halt to the dogs.
Yeah, these dogs, they halted and they literally stayed in that position until the constable left. I don't know, they were watching him the whole time.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy. They didn't move, they just stared at him like, make a move, I dare you.
Just the whole interaction, even though it was minor, it was so intense and you could see like they were demon dogs from hell. Like,
seriously, hell dogs.
Yeah, like
hellish
crazily
dogs,
trained and focused.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then we go inside and we talk with
Mr. and Mrs. O'Neill, who are Liam and Alice.
Yeah, so this is the connection from the beginning. I like that the author does that. We always have like a beginning like from the past and then it's always like connected, right? I love that. I love the story and how it connects.
Years later.
Yeah, years later.
Yeah, but they have this American accent, or you can't even tell they're from Ireland, right? They were hiding it really well.
Right, yeah. When I was reading, I was like, whoa, what happened to their accents? What's going on?
Yeah, it's like, Liam sounds familiar, but he's American.
Like, huh. Yeah. And this is many years later, so we're kind of like, that's already, like, to us, like, suspicious, you know?
Yeah.
Like, suspicion number one.
And then Davies, the constable, he's, like, digging into their past, and apparently they're one of the oldest families there in that town.
Right.
And they have a lot of pool. Even the mayor's, like, protecting them. But...
And actually when Alice, when she tells her story of, like, what happened, what Sophia, saw, and how it was seen as something else, right? I was like, well, that's understandable. Like, all right, I see it. It's back in that time anyways, right? Where witchcraft was like, oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe she was mistaken, and these poor people just want to be left alone, right?
He's like, alright, they're fine. No more rumors are being spread. The townspeople are fine. They're not like rioting. So he leaves. But then he has a nightmare from Mrs. O'Neill, which was pretty creepy.
Dude, super creepy. This is one of my worst, like, scary fears of things, like when you're in bed. So he was in bed, and then all of a sudden, something goes under his covers. Oh, I'm starting to get, like, weird goosebumps just even thinking about it. Goes under his covers, comes up towards his face, and it's her. It's Mrs. O'Neill, and she tells him to, like, basically just leave them alone, let them be. And then she turns into a bunch of snakes. And then he wakes up. Ooh, you think you're safe in bed, and then all of a sudden things are grabbing at you or moving around under your covers. And like, oh my God, no. What the hell? Oh my God. No, but I do. This and the first one of this series was like my favorites. These were really cool. I wish that the author wrote more of these and just compiled them into like one book. Because they do have that in like romance where there's a lot of short stories. Like an author will write a bunch of short little stories, like spicy ones, and just compile it all into one book. So you just get spice after spice after spice. Like this was just like horror after horror after horror. I would totally be down with that. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. And be sure to check out Facing Demons, an All Hallows Eve tale by Kevin Matthew Hayes.